Hey there, I'm Julie Tam, managing broker at Lynn Realty, a brokerage serving generations of clients in the greater Houston area and from around the world. And you can find me on har.com as Yao Tam. har.com stands for Homes and Rentals. The reason I'm shooting the video this way is today I want to take you through a home and I want to be able to shoot it from behind the camera with the best view. So I'm starting out by shooting myself in the mirror so you can see my face and who's talking to you, and then I will move behind the camera while I walk you through this property. You are watching my weekly Wednesday video series, Smarter Real Estate, where I give you practical strategies to make you a smarter buyer, seller, tenant, or landlord, and also take you on some of my real estate adventures. And today I'm doing all of that. In fact, focusing on buyers who want to become landlords, aka investors. And these videos are shot in one take and not edited. I am in Katy, which is a city just west of Houston. It's really considered part of greater Houston, as Houston has gobbled up a lot of these suburbs that are perhaps their own cities in some cases and have their own municipalities and city halls, the mayor, etc. But really it's all part of greater Houston, and this is a very popular suburb for folks to live in. People love it for the community, the atmosphere for both families and singles, and then of course the public schools that tend to be well rated. All right, so today, as I mentioned, I'm talking about investors and specifically investment properties, what to look for, what not to look for, what to avoid, all of that. And I'm focusing on two main areas. One would be the features and attributes to look for in a potential viable investment property. And two would be your bottom line. So obviously the goal of investing in anything, whether it be stocks, bonds, real estate, or a business or anything else, is for profit. You want to have something to save up for retirement or for your children or whatever the purpose may be, or just for some extra cash on the side to be able to spend. Okay, so we're going to cover a lot of ground today, so get ready and strap yourselves in for quite a ride. All right, so I'm actually in the secondary bathroom, a full bath in the hall of this house. And this is a single family detached house, which means it stands on its own, it has a yard, and there's no shared walls between neighbors. We are in a typical suburban neighborhood, and I'm going to take you through this house. So follow me. I'm going to come out into the hallway and just start walking outside while I begin talking about the first thing that I mentioned, which is features and attributes of a property you're looking for. So first of all, when you're looking to invest in real estate, I'm walking out the front door, you are going to look for profit. The goal is to have a passive investment for passive income. In other words, when you go to work and you're spending hours and hours on the job, that is active income, right? You have to put in the time and effort, and that takes you away from your family. So you want to have some investments on the side that are going to make money for you. Go ahead and ignore the trash that's set out by the curb. The sellers of this home just moved out, and we have already leased it out in just the first week on the market. Here's the street this house is on, and there's my car. All right, so first we'll start with this curb appeal. This home is uniquely beautiful and rare in this price range. It was listed for $185,000. I'm not going to tell you the sale price because that's actually not public information, but it's for realtors to be able to look up on the MLS or the multiple listing service. But what is unique about this home is the front elevation. Most homes, as you can see with the neighboring homes, you've got the overhead garage door, which is a two-car garage in this case, facing the front of the house. So, even though these homes look nice as well, it does attract attention to the garage door when that's not the pretty part of the home. This home, however, the garage does not face the front. In fact, you see a lot of brick and this cute design here. You've got a curved driveway that leads up to the garage that faces the side. I don't think there is another home we manage off the top of my head that has this feature. So this is definitely unique. This home happens to have 3 sides of brick, the front and both sides, and the back is hardy board. Great landscaping, a lovely tree out front. And we like brick because it's durable and there's good value to it. It doesn't require a lot of maintenance, it's hard to damage. Nice leaded glass front door. And actually this one has a special smart doorbell plus other smart features, including linked to a surveillance camera and an alarm system. So I'm going to walk into the house now. And what you first see when you walk in is this beautiful archway, double archway in fact, a tiled entry. And the formal dining room right off the entry has hardwood floors, which is also rare for a rental property of this price range. And this lovely little chandelier with this sunburst window with window treatment above this front window here. Okay, and crown molding. All right, now this price of a home in the greater Houston area is right about where the sweet spot is for investing. We want to stay at or below $200,000. And today I'm talking really and focusing on residential real estate in greater Houston. So a lot of these concepts may or may not apply elsewhere. Some of the general concepts apply elsewhere, but some of the specifics about the area and what appeals to people may not apply. So just keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is all over the internet, including right here on this page, wherever you're watching, whether it be YouTube or Facebook. So I'm definitely here to help. Anyway, so this is the hallway where I just came from that hall bath earlier in there. And I want to walk you through each room and tell you basically what really caught our eye as we were looking at this property for investment. This is a property that we manage, and we put it on the market, and within the first couple of days, we had a slew of showing requests and inquiries, and then multiple applications that came in from qualified tenants. We picked the best one and got it leased out within the first week. So that's pretty incredible. There's my purse. And it goes to show you that really this was a good choice in investment property. We are looking for things that are rare. For example, that front elevation I was talking about, right? That can not only attract tenants right now for good short-term revenue, but also for long-term potential appreciation because it is something rare. Same thing goes for if you're looking for a home on a lakefront or with a lake view. They're basically not that common in the greater Houston area. Most homes are not on the water. So if you find something like that that makes the home unique, that's definitely something to consider as long as all the numbers add up as well. Okay, we talked about the property, and as I walk through, I'm going to point out some more things. For example, like these granite countertops, the tile backsplash, the tile flooring, the nice cherry wood cabinets with the taller 42-inch cabinets above. You do have a pantry here. Okay, and you saw the space for the refrigerator is empty right now. There is a fridge in the garage. It's not the newest model, of course, but if you provide this for a tenant, it can be attractive, but then sometimes tenants have their own refrigerator. Same goes for washer, dryer, so it's kind of hit or miss with a house. With a condo or a townhome that's within a community or a complex, it tends to be that those tenants are a little bit more mobile. They're used to apartment living where all the appliances are provided. So they're less likely to have their own fridge, washer, dryer. So if you provide those, that's definitely going to be a more welcome situation in that case. All right. This is an undermounted sink, meaning that, you know, it's very sleek. The countertop goes all the way to the edge here. You don't have the stainless steel sink having a lip that comes over, which would be an over-mounted sink. So this is definitely a higher end look. And of course, this nice, you know, more modern faucet with the swan neck and the extra spray feature. A faucet that pulls down is very popular for folks to be able to spray their dishes. And this is a Bosch dishwasher. I mean, come on, that's a really high-end brand, especially for a rental home or any type of home. And then you have this gas a range here. People usually like gas because it tends to heat the food up faster, cook the food faster. You might have seen in the reflection my sparkly glitter flops, flip-flops. Since I'm not seeing anybody right now and just shooting this video, I just want to be comfortable as I'm walking through this property. Okay, and here's a built-in microwave / event hood combination right above the range. So these are the types of typical appliances that people expect to come with the home. Some special features here, not some huge deal or anything, but with all the cabinet space, this one actually has a couple of pull-out drawers that are soft closing. Okay, so basically when you push it, it finishes closing the rest of the way on its own. And in the living area, you have these built-in speakers that are there for a nice, you know, surround sound effect. Ceiling fans are great because people use them for energy savings. So having them in main areas like the living room and also bedrooms is a good thing. Fireplace in Houston, you know, it's kind of one of those things where some people like them, some people don't really care, but I never see it as a negative to have the fireplace. At most, you might find a tenant not wanting to use it, but at least it's there and it looks nice. You know, the hearth tends to be the center of the home, or at least the living room. And as I continue to just walk you through this property, let me talk about location next. So obviously, you know, as people are looking for places to live, the general population, the masses, so to speak, tend to gravitate towards certain areas. So we know that Katy is a really popular area. And then of course there are places like Sugar Land and Friendswood and Woodlands, but those areas are really priced quite high and really have pretty much been priced out of the investor pool, so to speak, to make it worth it to invest in. Here's a drop-down light over the breakfast area, high vaulted ceiling, which is great. Having an open floor plan is what's desired these days. And this is the door to the backyard. I'll take you outside in a little bit, but let me just continue down this hallway. This is the back side of the hallway that started in the front of the house that we saw at the very beginning of this video. Okay, so when you're looking as far as proximity to certain things, we want proximity to conveniences. So you want to ask yourself, is this property close to major highways, freeways, roads, etc., for people to access so they can get around town, perhaps to their place of work quickly? Here we have carpet that's in pretty good condition. Some people like carpet in the home, like the bedrooms, because it has a warm feeling. Some people don't like carpet because they either have allergies or they just don't like the look of it. They'd rather have hard floors. Of course, in the living room, as you saw earlier, there's hardwood floors. So that's a nice feature. Now, there are some scuff marks here because the sellers just moved out and we haven't come in just yet. But we will have a contractor come up into this home and go ahead and paint over all of that and do little, repairs and things that are necessary. This is one of the secondary bedrooms, and this is a split plan, which offers the master bedroom some privacy. So, we've got 2 rooms off over here. It's a 3-bedroom house. There's the other room there in front. And that way, the owners or the renters are in the master, and if they have children or guests that are over here in this wing, they have some privacy from them. And here's a hall linen closet, which is also a good feature. Okay, and back to talking about conveniences. So conveniences would be considered things like, schools nearby, parks, nice, amenities like that. And then, of course, like dog parks are really popular these days. Nice big shower head there, feature that people would like. And then, of course, retail, like restaurants, convenience stores, grocery stores. You don't want to back up to a convenience store that tends to draw a lot of traffic and, may not be the best type of traffic that you'd want coming to your area. But, if a gas station is somewhat nearby and convenient, that's good. Other conveniences like shopping and, nicer dining options. Here's a second bedroom here in the front with the closet. We are going to have this door reattached. I'm going to come out and start making my way back through the home and going to the other side to show you more. And when we're looking at proximity, we want to be close to good things, but not bad things. So check for eyesores, right? We don't want to be backing up to a high voltage power line, for example, or near a landfill, or backing up to a busy street that would be noisy. And so here's a lovely art niche. These are just little things, little features that add really nice touches to this home. And then we also want to check the surroundings. Okay, so like, do we see people who park a lot of cars on the street, play loud music, kind of what are the neighbors like? Because that's something that, you can't change. If you come into a home and the home's a wreck, you can do a lot of renovations and fix things up, but you can't fix things like location and things that are surrounding the home. So those are important things to establish from the get-go. All right, the other thing is the school district. So here's that alarm panel I was talking about. Laundry room with some great shelving and other hanging rods. So just additional space that's very practical and useful. And this is where the washer and dryer would go. More tile flooring. Okay, so school district is important because a desirable school district is going to draw more renters and also more high quality people. So, and also a school district that's good is going to help the properties maintain their value as well. If a school district is going downhill, then chances are the quality of the people living in that area and then the pricing is going to go down over time as well. The master bedroom is where we are now. Like I talked about that split plan, so we're on the other side of the house, nice vaulted ceiling. High ceiling is really nice and desirable. This is engineered wood flooring, which is real wood, but not solid hardwood. It comes in panels in a box rather than installed on site and stained on site. Okay, the size of the home also matters. You want to find a size that's appealing to more people. So if you buy a home that's too large, for example, over 3,000 square feet, then you're limiting yourself to renting to primarily families with multiple children, for example, or perhaps multi-generational, like you have the grandparents there and the main renters plus the children. Certainly you can have a couple or a single person wanting to rent that type of home, but we're looking to appeal to more people. So a home like this, okay, that is going to be anywhere from about 1,600 to 2,500 square feet is kind of right in the middle range, where you can have a single person, a couple, and even a small family, a family with a few kids, live in a home like this. And so you're going to attract a wider variety of folks and therefore increase your tenant pool to be able to lease the home out faster. So here is one of the 2 closets for this master bedroom, okay, which includes built-in shelving. That's always attractive. Pretty good amount of space, and the other closet is through the bathroom. Okay, so 3 or 4 bedrooms is good. Having 2 or 3 baths, or if it's a 2-story house, an extra half bath downstairs is also a positive thing. This double kind of French door to the bathroom from the master bedroom is also a nice touch. And we also want to look at the age of the home. So a home that's been built within the last 10 or 15 years, the newer the better, if you can. Of course, some newer homes, are basically priced out for investors because the dollar per square foot is going to be too high. But a newer home is going to be less likely to need major repairs anytime soon. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, there's major systems like plumbing, if underground plumbing, for example, that can fail after several decades. And then you also have AC, water heater, things like that have a lifespan, typically anywhere from 10 to 20 plus years, depending on how well it's been serviced and taken care of. And so the older your home gets, unless everything's been replaced, you're more likely to come up to being closer to the time where you're going to need to pay to replace things as the investor. So that's going to eat into your profit. Okay, so this is the separate glass shower and tub, which is a nice feature. Not everybody uses a bathtub, but in case they do, it's just something nice to have. People usually aren't going to complain. It's not going to take away from the home. Also, a separate water closet where the toilet is. And then another linen closet here. Plus, this is that second closet that I mentioned, a walk-in closet, which is always positive. And I'm back. So this is the vanity area. You've got medicine cabinets on both sides, which is positive, plus double sinks and knee space if someone wants to sit here and use it as a makeup counter. So those are positive things, in addition to the plumbing fixtures that are more modern and a little bit fancier. You've got, again, a little mini swan neck going on, and this is a brushed nickel finish, which is more modern. And of course, the cabinet knobs match that as well. Okay, so we will slowly exit the master suite. I've talked about features and attributes. The other big area of consideration for an investor I mentioned is the bottom line. So as an investor, you cannot be emotional. You must not look for a home that necessarily fits your needs or that you personally like, but rather a home that's going to appeal to the largest number of people of kind of your ideal renter pool. And so you have to consider what it is that people are desiring and where people are wanting to live. And also the condition of the home. I had an investor one time, see a home with me that was just kind of gross, like it was really dirty and there were some repair issues and whatnot. And I said, you know what? That doesn't matter. You don't need to feel like, oh, I'm turned off by this home. I don't want to live here. Because once you fix it all up and make it nice, someone's going to want to live there. And so see past that and have some imagination. Those are the investors. If you're looking for a fixer-upper especially, that's perhaps a good deal like a foreclosure or a short sale. Not necessarily those, and those are not necessarily good deals, but I'm giving you examples. Then if you have that imagination and see what the potential is, what can be done, and about how much money you need to spend, and maybe you're getting a good price on it, like if you only need to spend $10,000 but you're getting the house $30,000 below market, well heck, that's a great deal. Isn't this backyard pretty spectacular? I mean, for a rental house that costs only $185,000, you have a ceiling fan, the ceiling fan needs a little bit of work. We're gonna replace the ceiling fan. But this covered back porch that's just huge and expansive, and just beautiful landscaping, this stonework, this path goes around to the side of the house and to the front wooden gate. So, these are just features that make the home extra nice. See that? and some landscaping to kind of mask the AC, so that way that's not so obvious. Okay, so when we look at the costs that you will have, okay, that the landlord's required to pay for, those include, if you have a mortgage, you're gonna have to pay principal and interest, PI. So there's something called PITI, and the PI is the principal and interest component of that. T would be your taxes, so property taxes, which is the assessed value as determined by the appraisal district times whatever the tax rate is. In the greater Houston area, we tend to see tax rates that are anywhere from about 2.2% up to like 3.9%. Roughly, I've seen, as high as. And then the I, that last I, is insurance. So you're gonna want to get dwelling and fire insurance to protect the actual structure, the house. And then also landlord liability insurance. That is exactly the way it sounds. You have liability as a landlord renting to tenants, things that might happen to your tenants, whether it was your fault or not, on the property that they could come after you for. So you want to have that protection. And then an umbrella policy is even better. If you can have something that is overarching and encompasses multiple properties you might own, perhaps your house, even the home you live in, your homestead, and that just gives you extra added protection. This landscaping is pretty darn nice, with extra concrete pavers back there, all the flowers, this little fruit tree here. Okay, and just a nice sized backyard. It's not overly large for maintenance, but it's not too small, so you definitely can make use of it. All right, most people out there have pets. Well, I wouldn't say most people, but a lot of people have pets. And we do see a lot of people applying for homes that we manage with pets. We manage over 300 properties in the greater Houston area. So we have a good amount of experience and anecdotal evidence for all of this. There's actually a second ceiling fan here at this back porch. So my point is that if you can allow pets on a case-by-case basis, basically, just making sure that you consider the number of pets, that you're not allowing breeds that are prohibited by your insurance company. Perhaps the HOA has certain rules that prohibit exotic pets like snakes, for example. Okay, so considering all of that, but then you're going to also be able to widen your tenant pool when you allow pets on a case-by-case basis. Typically, folks who have good qualifications, as in good rental history, good credit, and all of that, will tend to be more responsible pet owners and not let their pets cause the amount of damage that someone else might otherwise let their pets cause. And I have other videos where I talk about tenant qualifications and other things that have to do with rental property. So definitely check those videos out as well. All right, so continuing on about the bottom line. So essentially, if you have a mortgage on the home, your tenants are paying that off for you via the rent, right? So your rent is your revenue. Now, if the rent is higher than all of your costs, then of course you make a profit. But a lot of times you're only going to be roughly breaking even. There may be some months where you're actually having a loss if there's repairs that you're having to pay for that the lease says that the landlord is responsible for during the life of the mortgage. And after you've paid it off, that's when your profits really start to come. So of course, if you pay cash for a home while you are tying up more capital, then you are most likely making immediate profit after perhaps some initial expenditures to make the home ready, but because you don't have a mortgage to pay. Okay, I'm just gonna walk around the house so you guys can have a second look while I continue to talk. Okay, and there's different types of housing that you wanna consider. So with a single family house like this in the suburbs, usually there's a homeowners association, which is HOA, which is something I've been talking about. And the fee is typically gonna be a couple hundred, few hundred, maybe several hundred a year, typically. Whereas a condo or a townhome where they're attached, in a community, in a complex, kind of like an apartment complex, except for the units are individually owned rather than the entire complex being owned by the same entity. So in that situation, the HOA fees tend to be much higher. So instead of just a few hundred or several hundred a year, it's going to be that much a month. So you're talking about, like 10, 12 times higher. So you want to consider that because investing in a condo or a townhome, it can eat into your profits if those HOA fees are high, because those types of properties tend to have more amenities like 24/7 concierge, security guard, gated community, perhaps a recreational area like a clubhouse, fitness center, swimming pool, hot tub, yoga room, on-site dry cleaning pickup, etc. Whereas a typical neighborhood with single-family homes doesn't have those, right? Some neighborhoods may have a pool or a playground, and that's about it, or may not even have any of those amenities. Those amenities are attractive to tenants. So for just a couple $100 more a year, if that neighborhood does have at least minimal amenities, that's a positive thing. Okay, and then you want to look at, of course, the price of the home. And I mentioned that, under or about 200,000 and under is a good place to be. And that is because as the price goes higher above that, your rent rate won't keep up. So the rent does not increase as rapidly as you get more expensive in terms of the price of the home that you would pay to buy the home. And so that's why we want to, try to not get a home that's too expensive. So for example, if like this home is $185,000, we're going to be renting it out for $1,600. Obviously, if we can get closer to the rent being 1% of the sales price, as in about $1,800 or so, that would be even better. But $1,600 is not bad at all. Frankly, I probably could have rented it out for $1,700, but then it might have sat on the market longer. And for $100 more a month, which translates to $1,200 more a year, if the home sat for an extra month, then basically you would have lost those additional profits. So my goal was to go ahead and get it leased out as quickly as possible, and we accomplished that. So, however, let's say you bought a home for $400,000. Well, it's very unlikely that you'd be able to lease it for close to $4,000. Maybe you'd lease it for only $2,500, right? So now we're even farther away from achieving 1% of the sales price with the rent rate. Okay, we're winding down to the end here, so let me just finish up by mentioning that the days on market is also important when you're looking at a neighborhood. If it looks like homes are sitting for a long time before they get rented out, that's not a good sign, because that means you're going to be losing money in the holding costs that you have to pay while the home is vacant, which is not only that PITI and the HOA I mentioned, but also your utilities, right? You got to keep the electricity on, even if you don't keep gas or water on, and then also you're going to have to keep the lawn mowed. And then as people are looking at the home and walking through the home for showings, they might track dirt. Mildew might start to grow in the toilet, for example. Then you're going to have to do an additional cleaning. So those are all extra costs. I'm back in that bathroom where we started, so I can wrap up my talk here. This is a lot of information, and there's a lot more to this investing thing. And obviously, as I mentioned, we have a lot of experience in this, and personally, I do as well. I've been in this business for about 8 years, and really have grown up in the business. So feel free to contact me. I hope you will like and subscribe to my videos on Facebook and YouTube. And join me again next Wednesday for another edition of my Smarter Real Estate weekly Wednesday video series. But meantime, if you're looking for someone to represent you, to look for investment properties and buy investment properties, I can do that. And there's no charge to you. I said no charge to you. The seller pays commissions for both sides, both for their agent, the listing agent, and also the buyer's agent. So as buyer's agent, I would not charge you anything. You don't pay anything, and the seller pays for all the commission. So might as well utilize me as a resource. And typically commissions are largely the same among most real estate brokers and agents in this area. So don't you want to work with the best, someone who has a lot of knowledge in this and who has invested and bought a number of properties herself? That would be me. I am an investor owner as well. But one thing I want to make clear is this: integrity is the most important thing for me, and I put the client first. So when I present a property to my clients, I let them have first dibs on the home. Even if I think this is a great investment, I would love to buy this property, my clients have first dibs. And I do thorough analysis and try to pitch it to the client to make sure, in case they don't want it, then I've given it the best shot before I buy the property. And so I can tell you that much. All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye now.